I just love the growth that we have seen so far in the first 5 years and thinking about what we've been able to accomplish, all the agents that have joined us and made things even better in those first 5 years, and just what we could do in the next five to grow on that, like just where we could go in terms of how many more areas we could help, how
Mhm.
many more agents can get involved. I think that's what's really exciting.
Welcome to the Justin Landis Show, your real estate podcast about having conversations, building relationships, and creating freedom. And today I've got a special guest with me, Cathryn Childs, the managing and qualifying broker at Bolst. Cathryn, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, Cathryn, this is a good background for being a broker. You actually are also an attorney and were practicing law before real estate.
Correct.
How did you decide to change from law to real estate?
It was one of those things where I'd been practicing law for only like 2 years or a little bit of change, and just sort of realized that it wasn't what I wanted to do with the rest of my life.
You don't like to bill every 6 minutes?
Yeah, that was a big part of it. So yeah, keeping track of like every little thing you're doing throughout the day and how you can charge it was one of the things that I did not enjoy. But yeah, like one of the things that I've said this to a few people is I feel like we have to spend so much of our life working, and my heart just wasn't in it. And so I wanted to find something that I was more excited to be spending so much time doing.
Yep. Yeah, we share that belief. We're doing this a lot of the day. We should like it. I mean,
Exactly.
yeah, we should like what we're doing. All right. I've done a lot of marketing over the years, but this may be the best outcome of any marketing that I've done. Do you remember how we got connected and part of what it was that made you reach out?
For sure. Yes. So I lived in the Grant Park neighborhood in Atlanta. And whenever I had decided that I wanted to switch to real estate, like the main thing I did was just reach out to real estate agents, and I had gotten postcards.
Oh, yeah. So for you real estate agents here out there, you're like, do these postcards work? Listen to this. Cathryn got a postcard and
I saw your face many times over and over. So I knew your name. I'd seen your listings in the neighborhood. I was like, this seems like someone to call.
And so you called me. It was a cold call. I talk about cold calls a lot. And, I didn't know you, but got the email, responded. And I just think this is like kind of a cool thing for real estate agents, unrelated to really what we're talking about today. But like to one, put the marketing out. You never know what's going to happen. Two, to make a cold reach out. You don't know what's going to happen. Three, sometimes someone cold reaches out to you and you respond to them and something great happens. A lot of things kind of had to fall in place there for us to get to know each other.
Yeah. And what I've always told you is you were one of the most responsive people of everyone that I reached out to.
That works for real estate agents. You got to respond quickly. So you came on as a real estate agent, joined the Justin Landis Group. I mean, we're immediately successful selling a bunch of houses. I remember in our Justin Landis Group me that if people would put a question in there and you would give it a thumbs up, everybody was like, oh, this got Cathryn's approval. This is the way to go. Was that your first glimpse into broker might be a good role for you?
Probably. Yeah. I think so.
Tell us about how the legal background has helped you both as an agent and then now as a broker.
Yeah, so it's definitely not necessary.
You would not recommend any real estate agents go back to law school?
If you know that you want to do real estate, you can skip law. But it has been helpful for sure. I mean, one is just the comfort level with the contracts, with just like having a deeper understanding of like what you're buying, property, real estate, all that kind of stuff is helpful. And I mean, there is a degree of some people just like to be able to say that they're a real estate agent also as an attorney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. So you were selling a lot of houses. We decided to launch Bolst. You had not been a broker yet, like it had a broker role. And you graciously agreed to take a risk and become the first broker of Bolst and help us launch it. What was that like, launching a brand new brokerage without having been in the job before?
It was exciting, but also a little nerve-wracking.
Considering none of us had ever done it before?
Yeah, but I think it was mostly exciting. I was like, I felt good about the group of people we had that were doing this. Like, I feel like generally smart people and very capable. We can figure stuff out.
Yep, we are good at figuring things out.
Yeah. So it definitely was like no guidebook for doing this. So it was just sort of like, what do we need to do? How do we like figure it out, research it?
As you remember back on that, what was harder than you thought it was going to be?
Harder. Great question. I would say like a lot of what would sort of maybe catch me up, but not that much, was just people would ask me questions which I did not know the answer to, because there's a lot of things that I did not know, understandably, yet, because I just hadn't experienced it yet. But like my go-to answer is like, that is a great question, or let me look into it. And so it was just a lot of researching. And that just all piled up. And like the more resources I found for just sort of, all right, how we figure this out, people to talk to, the more you learn. So I learned a lot.
Yes. We all learned.
Especially in the first year.
We all learned a lot. And I do remember that first year because you were kind of tasked with putting a lot of like the big picture and vision stuff down into place of like what it actually meant and how we were operating day to day. What were you most intentional about that first year and at the beginning to make sure we actually did get right at the beginning to kind of set the direction of Bolst that you wanted it to be?
Yeah. Well, I wanted the paperwork to be right, all the legal stuff.
Yes.
So I wanted to make sure we had great processes in place for compliance pieces and just making sure that all of our paperwork and instructions to agents for the contracts were good. But then I also wanted to make sure, like, I feel like my number one role and responsibility as the broker is that agents knew they had someone to reach out to. So putting that sort of availability and being able to give good advice and really research things for people.
And I mean, you have done that amazingly. We do a lot of surveys at Bolst where we'll have like kind of feedback surveys. And one of the questions we always ask is, rate your broker support, rate how helpful they were. Always the highest marks. You always get the absolute highest marks at that. And so it shows that you set out to be intentional about it and have succeeded on it. And I think people really appreciate that. As you think about, we didn't have a model here. It wasn't a franchise. We were setting things from scratch. What are some things that you set out to do differently that you think have really been beneficial for the agents and beneficial for Bolst as we kind of look back over the first 5 years?
I think that sort of gets to more so like how we were thinking about Bolst in the get-go of like, why are we doing this? The whole founded by agents for agents kind of thing is really just taking that perspective of being an agent and actively, like, less so now, but at the beginning I had more time to like still work with clients and be in the game.
And you do work with, you and all the brokers at Bolst are still working with some clients, which is a difference from a lot of brokerages. And I love it because you're getting to see it, what's actually happening right now firsthand.
Which I think is a real valuable asset to our agents. It's not so much of just relying on what other people have said or like really old experience. So being able to have that like actual experience of like, this is me in it too, this is what it's like, and being able to say, well, I've tried this as an agent and this worked or this didn't work kind of thing. It's more personable, realistic advice.
Yeah, because we have to match the legal with the today, right? I mean, like you obviously have, absolute best-in-class knowledge of contract and what would happen legally, but we're typically not going to court the next day. So like, what are we going to talk about tonight with the client and the other agent to try to get this figured out in a practical way? You got to marry those to find the highest level of success. Yeah. And I feel like that's something that being for agents and by agents has, really allowed us to do that. When it comes to the culture at Bolst, you've had a big impact on shaping that. What have you wanted it to be? What would you say it is? And how has that kind of come about?
I've loved and wanted it to be, and I think we've done this, like just a very collaborative kind of brokerage. I always say that I think we attract nice people. I think it's the whole purpose piece of it. Everything like attracts people who really, really care about their clients in Atlanta, the communities, and want to do good through their job. And so tend to be really nice. And and they're helpful to each other. And so I've loved that aspect of people who are just, wanting to give of their time. They're not hoarding their secrets of what has done or gone well for them. And it's just like really collaborative.
Yeah, I love that too. I mean, maybe it kind of goes without saying, but the type of person who joins a purpose-based brokerage generally like wants to help people, or you probably wouldn't join. But it has been cool to see that, and how, I mean, you've done such a great job of facilitating, panels of agents, taking what agents have shared with you and sharing it with the rest of the brokerage. And that collaboration, I do think, makes all the agents better at their actual job, which you care a lot about. You want the agents to do a good job.
Exactly.
What's your philosophy on brokerage support? I mean, or broker support, as you think about agents reaching out, what's kind of like your overarching philosophy on that?
Yeah, I tell agents, and like that's one of the things that I like to say, like when I meet an agent and they're joining, is like, I will save your cell phone number to my cell phone. Please save mine to yours. Like, my personality is that, where I enjoy getting validation from like, hey, this is the right idea. So I'm happy to be that person
Yeah.
to other people too. So give me a call. Like, if you're like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, is that the right thing to do? Or would this be better? I get a lot of those. And they're honestly pretty short conversations. But I love doing that. I love hearing about people's transactions. So I want people to call me. My day gets more boring if I don't get to hear what's going on.
You don't think that the agent should call a 1-800 hotline and get connected to somebody they've never met before?
No.
No, I don't either. Exactly. I mean, that happens a lot, but I just think about that, the difference of that versus the difference of they have a relationship with you and they get to have that advice. I mean, I just think that makes a pretty tangible difference for agents moving forward. Another thing I know that you love from a broker support standpoint is people to proactively reach out versus cause a problem and then do it afterwards. What is it about that you think is so helpful for the agents?
It's a lot easier to prevent a problem than try to solve it later. And that sort of gets to the whole idea of like, hey, just like run an idea by me. Like, no question is too stupid, or like I've heard it all.
Don't you think people, though, I think probably like in society in general, there's like a fear of looking like you don't know what you're doing or not asking it? I mean, do you feel like that's a concern?
Probably, but I'm that person where you can just like run that by me rather than making that mistake or in front of a client. So especially with new agents, like there's so much that you haven't experienced yet or that you just don't really feel confident in yet. And so that's why, our brokers are here to help you with that kind of stuff, as well as our great like elevated and advanced training. So you've got extra dedicated support for that.
Yeah. Man, Cathryn, that reminds me of a story from a while back when this like really first hit me on the preventative. I had an agent early on at JOG who came on and he had gotten multiple offers on a listing, and he was calling me not really about that, but I just asked him like, hey, you got the multiple offers? How's it going? What are you planning to do? And he's like, oh, we're about to take this offer. And I'm like, well, did you call for highest and best? Have you told the other offer? And he was like, no. And I was like, what do you think they really want it? I was like, yeah. I was like, what do you think might happen if you call for highest and best? It's like, they might really come up on the price. It's like, maybe we should consider doing that then, And they called for highest and best. And I think they got like $30,000 more. He was about to advise the client to take that first offer. And my initial thought on this was like, man, what a bonehead move that he was about to make. But then I thought, well, how could he possibly have known what to do? I mean, there's no way he could have known that because it was the first time he'd had multiple offers. And it really shifted to me to be like, oh, if we're going to bring agents on, it's our responsibility to help them do the best practice and get the best results for their client and for their business. And ever since then, I mean, I've just really tried to have it on my heart and in the team and the brokerage to be like, hey, let's help people do the best that they can and not assume that they already should know it, because there's a lot to learn in this business.
Yeah, I think that's so true. And I think there's a lot of examples of where that happens, where again, just having that collaboration is so key. Having someone to just run what you're thinking of doing by them and getting their perspective of like what their experience has been to what would be good practice is.
Because it's impossible to see every situation because there's just so many situations. So Cathryn, you have built so much here at Bolst for the first 5 years. We're celebrating 5 years at Bolst. As you look forward to the future of Bolst, what are you most excited about for Bolst moving forward from this point?
I just love the growth that we have seen so far in the first 5 years, and thinking about what we've been able to accomplish, all the agents that have joined us and made things even better in those first 5 years, and just what we could do in the next 5 to grow on that, like just where we could go in terms of how many more areas we could help, how
Mhm.
many more agents can get involved. I think that's what's really exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited about that too. I remember that first day when we onboarded, I think it was like 30 people at the very beginning. It feels like a long time ago, but you know, it really hasn't been that long.
No, I actually got notification today that today is exactly 5 days of whenever I became agent number 1 for Bolst.
Agent number 1. Oh, I like it. That's a good nickname too. Agent number
Yeah.
1. I like it. All right. Well, as you think, as people are listening, if they're thinking, they're hearing this, I don't know how someone could hear this and not think Cathryn would be awesome to be my managing broker. What would you say to someone who's thinking about, should I reach out? Should I consider Bolst? Give them a little sales pitch here.
A little sales pitch. Okay. Well, I mean, one of the things that I love about Bolst is that we really do put an emphasis on support and learning, because me personally, I love to learn. So you get great support not only from the brokerage itself, but from just the other agents. I feel like we've attracted great agents who are professionals, productive. And like, I also mean with that professional like statement that they really care about what they're doing and they want to do it at the best level.
Yeah.
So
Man,
it's a great team to join.
it is a great team to join. Thank you so much for all that you've done to shape Bolst over these last 5 years. I'm looking forward to these next 5 with you.
Thanks. Me too.
If you're listening to this and you're thinking Cathryn Childs should be my managing broker, she should be your managing broker, and you can book a conversation with her. I've got a link below where you can get on her calendar to have a conversation to see what it might be like to work with her. For everybody else, we really appreciate you listening. Make sure you like or subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and we will see you again next week.